Good morning, this is Z for eminywizard.com and marketwizards.com, reminding all of us that use risk capital we can afford to lose if we're playing this game. Don't forget our webinar coming up November 8th. Those who'd like to take a peek. And disclosures are on our website, reminding everybody that this is risky business. Premarket. We've already had some posts that we've made early, suggested that the middle from Friday was support until broken, and then we get a monster program trade. At the time, we had said this 90 to 95 area would probably be the first place if you were playing long side and still had a trailer. You'd want to make sure you're paid by actually that 93.75 area. And then the O2s we talked about as a potential next resistance zone. And we've got higher targets potentially today, but and I think the 07 is perhaps one of them. And then perhaps that 17 may be something we're going to keep an eye on the next day or so. That should come next as resistance targets. Right now, we've got a downtrend line. We've said the convenient trade is scalp short. Don't think that it's going to be a biggie. And if we could get back to the 85 zone, I would think that would be a trade that most traders would be more than happy with if you're scalping short. And don't let these 50 and 60 and 70 point trades fool you. This is a game of accumulation. So if we can get something out of these swings, put it bluntly, if there was a 100-point swing and you could get 5 points out of it, you've done better than not doing anything. So don't kid yourself and say that I only got 5 out of whatever the swing was. Try to accumulate your 4 or 5 points every day. And then when we can get a little bit more, feel that we're blessed with some good fortune. And this is not an easy market. Nobody knows where it's going. And when you get on the wrong side of a trade, you have to drop the trade. You cannot possibly just keep managing saying, I'm going to let the market bail me out. It's not the way to trade. All right, in this bigger swing, we can see that 07 area that I was talking about and why that would be potentially our next resistance zone. So this is the box that we're trading right now. And that very steep angle that I was talking about for a downtrend line. Comes from over here. So you want to pay attention to that for now. That may be slowing it down. And I think this is a profit-taking swing. I do agree with Zeke that we have the potential to have a bounce day. First things first, let's trade the range we've got before anything else. And then let's look at our potential targets that we've talked about. Angels and demons are here. And we know that our gap is going to be back here at the, there's 2 different gaps actually that we have to contend with. We do nothing to get backwards until we get back in and break this leg right here in that 91 area. This is holding traders captive right now. We need the generals to push back. And we can see all of the demons that got beat right here. Program trade, you can tell just by the size of it and by all these white bars. So this was their get out of jail card. And drop losers. And if you're a conservative trader, we have shorts that are trapped, and bots don't care about how high to buy and sell higher. So if you're really conservative and you don't want to trade the first few minutes, just stay sidelines. And we're going to keep an eye on this chart. Pretty important chart for now. So the question is, where do we run into resistance? We know we will run into resistance and there'll be some profit taking. So it's when and where. And give yourself a couple of shots at it. And if your trade ideas don't work out, just stay sidelines. It's never about any one day. Right now, the trap shorts are the problem, making it hard to get a pullback. I say that we need to consider this '07 area as the first key resistance. And I posted a pre-market at '02 and a half based on the 30-minute chart. If you're playing short side, don't expect much. Be happy if you can get in, scalp a little something as a convenient trade. I think it'll be a lot harder than most people think to get a good sized trade early. Here's our RTH chart. We can see just how how far we have come. So these lines will be coming up to meet us, and they will be supportive, especially the green one first. Thank you, Zeke. Zeke, what do you have as your half cap? You're using the 70. About 82, somewhere in there probably. 81 and a half, thanks. I said if we get back to 85, consider it a good trade, and anything below that, good fortune. And I still think it's going to take several entries. I just think this is just one of those opens where they're trying to game it. This is the 30-minute chart that I had posted earlier. And you can see the influence of these lines. You can tell that we're in this first funnel right now. Magenta line and the green line, and that's what's being resolved. Shorts have to get it back under the green line and the red line and the blue line to have any posture today. And we know that this, just by virtue of all black bars here, we know that this can go fast up through it. I don't think we're ready for that yet. And this is the first time we've come back to this line in a while. So I think the longs really do need to respect that. Because 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 5th day, and it's the first time back here. And it's the basis of that idea that I've suggested convenient trade should come backwards. And you can also see how this area right here has to be undermined. This was that high bounce on Friday. Remember on Friday? That was when I was out playing golf over here. And so this is an area that was resistance, and now the key is, can the shorts undermine it and make that invalid? Because sometimes these areas will turn into support. Prior resistance turns into support. End of the month games. Longs would like nothing better than to blast a few stops. I say they still have their work cut out for them. The pattern has been lower highs and lower lows. And the longs need to reverse that process for any posture. So I think today is going to be a pivotal day, and then we've got beginning of the month coming in. But I think technically a lot of damage was done, and the boys that are beating the drum for just buy pullbacks, I've seen some of them who over the last year or so have been quite vocal about just buy the pullback. And they've said that all the way down in this, you know. And they ignore the fact that they've been wrong for 300 points. You know, it's been nasty. So we're due for a relief rally one of these days where we don't have that same pattern of lower lows, lower highs, and then we run for a day or two, a relief rally, and then at that point, perhaps roll over one more time. So for now, we're going to give the edge to the longs because of them holding the middle from Friday's range. And until that's broken, that's support, the overnight low. If that gets broken, then we can come back and test any of these lows in here. And probably the thing that nobody's expecting is a very quiet open for the first half hour or hour, because we've been used to this crazy pace. So today we're going to look for evidence of this side that is still trapped and being squeezed, or Charlie buying the highs. My suggestion, think small, because we do have rising moving averages. We do have support already built up in a couple of locations. And let's just trade the range. Said we'll use 02 as our first resistance. Anybody wanted to scalp short? And if you could get back into that 87 to 85, hallelujah. And this is a squeeze pivot right here. It's got to be undermined by the boys. 96.75, 97 area is our current demon. And I think it's going to take multiple entries either way you play today, if you choose to play. You don't have to play every day, and you certainly don't have to be in the market the whole time. Nothing could be further from the truth. You know that it's a challenge when a pullback is only 10 points in this type of a market. Tells you we still have trapped traders. Need evidence that the generals are pushing back. That the generals, even if they want to buy, they want better odds to be buying at a lower price. My suggestion, hit and run. If you're risking a couple, make a couple. And if you want better odds, then wait. Don't take a trade right now. Today, if you buy high with the intention of selling higher, once the market starts to go in your favor, move your stops up fast. Because this was done in overnight trading and very light volume, obviously, and not a lot of support built up. Next support back here, where that guy got beat. And then the next one back in here. Very hard open today because they've trapped and squeezed, and until they let it come back a little bit and start to break the back of this rally, we still, and I said that early today, I don't think the high is in yet. I'm just hoping that they'd bring it back a little bit better, give better odds for buys. Some days you just don't get the trades you want. This may be one of them. And of course, if you were up this morning, the time that I was, and I said, well, that's support. So Got to be looking to at least go back and test 75s, and then don't forget that 26.98 and a quarter. Obviously, last year's high. That's a player right now. So I'd say take a shot at the short side and hope that it works. And if you don't want to do that, just stay sidelines. And if you do buy, I don't think the odds are in your favor, but it could work. Over time, this is not a very good long.